There it is.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Come on in.
How you doing? Ed Columbus.
Mike Farley, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Why don't you have a seat, Ed?
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, great. We're excited to have you. You know, Ed, we're really excited that Johnson & Johnson come to this conference and interview so many quality candidates. I just got done looking at your resume, and it really looks like you've done a lot in the last 7 years.
Thank you. 9 years.
7, 9, whatever it takes. But whether it be 7 or 9 years, why don't you just tell me about yourself so I can get to know you a little bit better?
Well, certainly. I'm glad to. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I grew up in Salem, Oregon. I went to a Douglas McKay High School where I graduated in the top 10% of my class. When I went into high school, I had several goals. I wanted to graduate on the dean's list. I wanted to be competitive and go to a good school. And I also wanted to be athletically oriented. When I finished high school, I graduated with over a 3.6 grade point average. I graduated in the top 10% of the class. I played on the high school track, football, and cross country teams, so I felt that I had a really good high school career. I was also able to parlay those accomplishments into an admission into the military academy at West Point. When I went there, I had a similar focus, only at a higher level. I wanted to succeed academically, graduate in the top 25% of my class, which I did with a 3.15 grade point average. I wanted to participate athletically in a lot of events, which I did. As you saw on my resume, I played a lot of sports. The ones of note were the team handball. And then I also wanted to develop my leadership skills at West Point. And fortunately, in that environment, I had a great opportunity to do that, and I was really happy to. And from West Point, I wanted to parlay that into being a successful lieutenant and captain in the Army. And when I was commissioned in the Corps of Engineers, my initial goal was to prove myself as a platoon leader. And I can honestly say after 18 months as a platoon leader, I did just that. I was then an executive officer overseas in Germany, and my goal there was to have the best maintenance program in the battalion. And I did go on to achieve that. Furthermore, I had a goal to go to the Armor Officer Advanced Course, which I further did. And then I wanted to go to the Junior Officer Maintenance Course and hone my maintenance leadership skills. I went there and graduated number 2 in the class. Then I came to Fort Carson. I had a goal to be the best training officer in the division. I was personally commended by the commanding general at Fort Carson on my training and my training plan. And then I had a plan to be one of the best battalion maintenance officers in the division. And based on comments by my battalion commander, I think I've done well in that area also. So, and right now, I'd like to parlay everything I've done from high school, college, and West Point into a successful career in corporate America. And that's why I'm so excited to be here. I really want to be a part of your firm.
Great. Well, our firm has a lot of people that we're looking at, and what distinguishes you from the next guy that comes in and interviews with me?
Well, in a word, attitude, all right? I have the enthusiasm and zeal to get the job done. Long hours don't frighten me. Arduous tasks don't frighten me. Challenges are what excite me, all right? I don't want a job where it's just ho-hum every day. I want to be challenged, and I feel in your company I will be. And with the attitude that I have, every day when I get up, I'll come to work raring to go. And I think that I can I think that I can impact on profitability right away, simply because of my attitude and my experience.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of zeal, as you put it. Now, could you maybe tell us a time that zeal worked negatively against you?
Well, certainly. As in a lot of positive traits, anything too extreme can go against you. My zeal, as you put it, got me in trouble when dealing with subordinates. I basically overdid their short-term goals as far as what I required of them. Unfortunately, I was able to consult with other subordinates, or in this case, non-commissioned officers, and they were able to intervene and say to me, "Hey, sir, maybe you better step back and ease up. Perhaps we can't handle this mission quite yet." Right? And frankly, that's a different attitude for me, because I'm used to embracing all challenges and tackling them. And you grow to realize in the Army that no matter how good you are and how talented and how experienced, you have to moderate yourself. All right? And you can't do it all by yourself. And that's why teamwork and cohesion are so important.
What would you label as your most significant accomplishment in the Army?
Well, my most significant accomplishment, again, I'm proud of a lot of things I've done, but most recently, I'm responsible for the automation in our battalion motor pool, battalion of 800 soldiers. We automated to computers on a system called ULS, Unit Level Logistics System, and it basically automates all the supply and maintenance functions in the motor pool. You know, now from a distance that doesn't seem like much, but I can tell you that it was an enormous task. And my battalion, and me as the battalion maintenance officer, took the lead in this transition, and we really made great strides and set the example in division. And of my most recent accomplishments, that is the one I'm most proud of. And it was very significant because it impacted immediately on readiness in the unit.
Now, you're married, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I have 2 children.
Okay. Do you have any preferences on where you want to go?
Well, I would prefer to work in the South, but I have to tell you, Mike, I'm really open. My wife and I have discussed this, and we're very flexible, and we're willing to locate anywhere with your firm at this point. But if I had my preference, I'd like to work in the South.
Great. And salary, what type of salary are you looking for?
Well, I'm basically looking at 36,000 and up. Okay, I really haven't pinned myself down on anything, but I think that's a reasonable start based on my experience.
We have a lot of different management styles in our company, and we like it that way because we find out that not everyone's the same. What type of manager do you enjoy working for?
Well, I enjoy a manager or a boss, if you will, that gives me an objective or a short or long-term goal, tells me what my resources are, tells me what time constraints I'm working under, and then gives me the autonomy to get the job done. All right? I appreciate spot checking because I myself as a leader do that. But I like to involve myself fully in the task at hand and then go back to him only if there's a problem or give him updates. I don't like to have what one of the terms we use in the Army is micromanager.
Are you a micromanager?
No, Mike, I'm not a micromanager, but I can tell you there are times and places where I feel the need to get personally involved. All right? I believe in spot checks. I believe in going down two-way communication, enhancing the cohesion of the team and the organizational effectiveness of the group that I work with. However, there's a time and place for micromanagement. But normally, I like to keep my hands off of what my subordinates are doing and just spot check them and make sure that they agree with the direction that we're heading.
So you like to use your position to energize or give some people a sense of urgency sometimes, is that?
Yes, exactly, Mike.
How about with, let's say you go down there and the people aren't responding on how you like it. Do you ever have to threaten them, do you think? What do you think about
No, Mike, absolutely not. I'm not that type at all. What I like to do, first of all, is assess the problem, all right? Get with my subordinates and see what is the root of the problem, all right? And if it's something that I can solve offline with one of my subordinates, that's what I'll do, all right? If it's a real problem, what I'll do is I'll take the input and suggestions of my subordinates and we'll talk about it. Two-way open communication, we'll come to a resolution. And then I'll direct that it be done and I'll oversee the completion of it.
How would you describe yourself as a leader?
Driven and aggressive. But aggressive not in a hostile fashion, in a positive way in that I'm a very energetic and enthusiastic leader. I'm always following up, I'm always checking. I like to use the term self-starter, okay? Because I like to do things without being told that I know which are right. Or I do things which I know are right, and I'm very good at identifying what needs to be done and having the initiative to do it without seeking further guidance.
Now, with all these accomplishments and all your strengths, what's a weakness of yours?
Mike, probably one of my weaknesses is at times, as I alluded to earlier, I don't know when to say when, all right? I push my people too far, if you will. And basically what I've done in the past, when I found that to be the case, and it's been pointed out to me either by my subordinates or my superiors, or perhaps a peer, I have learned from that mistake, all right? And I learn now to moderate the missions that I do, if you will. Because I realized that for an organization, whatever it is, in the Army or in corporate America, it is better to prorate things over a distance of time than to burn out initially and then fizzle and basically produce nothing. All right, as far as productivity. Productivity is much more enhanced with a leader who knows how to take care of his people, manage them properly, and get all the missions done while still taking care of them. All right, so that's basically a weakness of mine.
How about your long and short-term goals? Could you share those with me?
Certainly, Mike. Short-term goals in the next year, I hope to transition to your company in corporate America and impact immediately on profitability. The way I intend to do that, as I talked about earlier, is through my attitude, my enthusiasm, and my zeal. I hope to make the transition, relocate my family, settle down, and establish myself as a supervisor in corporate America. Long-term goals, 5 to 10 years out, I hope to help my wife enhance her nursing career. She's a registered nurse. I hope to raise my kids in a productive environment where they can learn in and out of the home. And I hope to rise through the ranks in your company based on my performance.
Okay. What would you label as your 5 strongest characteristics?
I'm aggressive, I'm hard-charging, I'm result-oriented, I'm goal-oriented, and I'm determined to see things through. I do not accept failure. It is not in my vocabulary. And if failures occur, I always learn from them and ensure that I do not make the same mistake twice.
One word to describe yourself.
Driven. Driven to succeed.
Now, I'm going to come out from left field here, and I really like what we see here. And as you know, you're interviewing for this production manager position in Louisville, but I really think that I could give you a sales position in New York where you could be pulling down $20,000 to $30,000 in commission a year. It's yours if you want it.
Well, Mike, I certainly appreciate the positive comments, but I got to tell you, I am set on this production manager position simply because I think it is what's for me. Now, later on down the road, as I prove myself as a production manager, I'll be more than happy and more than willing to look at sales anywhere in the country. But right now, my focus is on the job at hand, and I believe that I am the best man for the job as production manager in Louisville, Kentucky. And I will prove that if you hire me.
Okay. How about, just going back to your resume here, and I'm just very impressed by your accomplishments in the military, and I can't help but to think that you have a long and significant career in there. Why are you leaving?
Well, the military's been great for me, Mike. I've had a lot of positive experiences, and I've had a lot of successes. I got a great education out of West Point, and have had a great opportunity to lead some fine soldiers. However, for me, it's time to move on. My opportunity lies in corporate America. I feel that both in what I can do in corporate America, in impacting profitability right away, in starting as a supervisor and working my way up through the ranks, and also enhancing my quality of life. All right, family is very important to me, Mike, and I will tell you straight up, I've spent a lot of time away from my family the last 4.5 years, and I'm hoping in corporate America, while I'm willing to work long hours and I'm willing to travel wherever is necessary to get the job done, I hope to enhance my family life as I enhance my career. So that's why I'm leaving the Army.
Okay. You've told me that you're aggressive a couple of times. How would you describe that word? What would you define it as?
An aggressive individual to me is a person who doesn't take no for an answer, who doesn't take failure easily, who always learns from his mistakes and always keeps driving on, who always has the initiative not just to encounter obstacles and say, oh, too hard, but to overcome those obstacles and to keep driving on towards the objective or shorter long-term goal.
You know what, I guess I don't know about your loyalty, because when I think of West Pointers, I think of a lot of people that stay in the Army for at least 20 years and pay back the country for what the country has given them. How do you feel about that attitude?
Frankly, I feel that I have more than compensated the Army for my 4-year education at West Point. Right, in the last 5 years, as a second and first lieutenant and captain, I have done a lot of things for the Army, as my resume shows, right? And I'm quite proud of my accomplishments, and I'm very proud to have served in this fine Army. But I can tell you, Mike, at this point in my life, I don't feel like I owe the Army anything. I feel that I have more than recompensed them, and I think it's time for me to move on. And I think that anyone who takes an objective look at my career will say, yes, I paid back my 4 years at West Point with 5 years of hard, determined work in the Army with a lot of successes.
As a production manager, you're going to have a lot of people that might not want to do their work one day. Can you give me a specific example about how you influence a person to do something against their will?
Certainly. When I encounter that, and it depends
No,
on the type.
I said specific example. I don't want a hypothetical situation here.
A specific example is I had a squad leader in Germany, Staff Sergeant Whitney. All right. Now he had been in the Army for about 12 or 13 years, and he could get the job done, but he didn't always meet the standard, and he wasn't as competent as he should have been. Now, I took that as a personal challenge to train him to meet or exceed the standard. Unfortunately, the situation he was in.
Go on.
Unfortunately, the situation he was in, he wasn't able to perform, all right? After numerous counseling sessions, both with me, my platoon sergeant, and the company commander, we determined, after an awful lot of training, that it was not possible to salvage his career. So we had to tell Sergeant Whitney that unless he shaped up, we had to relieve him of his duties. And instead of shipping him elsewhere, we had to eliminate him from the service. And I took that very hard, because I pride myself that all of my subordinates are a member of a team, and as a team we will succeed. So I took that as a personal failure, and it was very difficult. But I recognize that at times you will not always have subordinates that can get the job done.
Okay, we're almost about out of time right here. Could you give me, or do you have any questions of our firm at this time?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. When I was going through your brochures, I was quite impressed with the variety of products that you make. And the only question that I would ask is, a lot of traffic in this room, isn't it, Mike?
Come on, the maid. We got to get rid of her.
I understand, but that's corporate America, always utilizing those assets to the best of their ability. But I got to tell you, I was impressed with your safety record, and the only thing I would say is, based upon your product successes and the safety record that you have, I was wondering, is there any way that I can impact on that in a positive way to enhance that further?
Well, it's a big job for the production managers to impact on their safety, and we hold you personally accountable for your safety record. If someone should be hurt on your shift, you will be fired immediately.
I see.
So we do things safety first.
I see.
Well, we're about out of time right here, Ed.
No.
Come on in.
Thank you. Ed Columbus, how you doing?
Mike Farley.
Nice to meet you.
Good meeting you. Welcome to Johnson & Johnson. Ed, I just got done looking at all your resume, and I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Looks like you've done some great things, and we're really happy to have the opportunity to interview you for our production manager job in Louisville. What before we kind of start off and get into the really particulars of the interview, why don't you just tell me about yourself?
Sure. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I was raised in Salem, Oregon on the West Coast, beautiful Pacific Northwest. I went to high school, and I basically had several things I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to graduate in the top 10% of my high school class, which I did in college prep courses. I wanted to be active in athletics, which I did. I played football, I ran track and field and cross country, and I wanted to be a part of the student activities, and I did that through the local school advisory committee and the student council. I was able to parlay a lot of my experience and success into an admission into West Point, as well as several other scholarships that I received. When I went to West Point, I had pretty much the same goals, only at a higher level. I wanted to be on the dean's list. I wanted to contribute to my athletic well-being, and I wanted to develop my leadership skills in anticipation of being a commissioned officer. I was on the Dean's List, and I graduated on the Dean's List in West Point in the top 25% of my class. I participated in numerous athletics, be it flicker ball, basketball, team handball, and so on. And I really felt that I had a great opportunity to develop my leadership skills throughout the whole entire cadet chain of command. When I graduated from West Point, I went to the Army with a similar outlook. My initial goal was to be a successful platoon leader. I went in and I was declared, after 18 months as a platoon leader, having the best platoon and being the best platoon leader in the 7th Engineer Brigade. Then I became an executive officer in Germany. I had a goal of having the best motor pool and maintenance program in the battalion, and I did just that. And then I had a goal to go to the Armor Officer Advanced course, which I was subsequently selected for, and then I wanted to go to the Junior Officer Maintenance course, where I graduated #2 in that class, rounding out my maintenance skills. Then I came to Fort Carson. The Commanding General commended me as having the best training brief as the training officer for the 4th Engineers. And then I became the Battalion Motor Officer, and I was responsible for a lot of things, and I basically share a reputation as one of the best BMOs in the 4th Infantry Division. So,
what's a BMO?
Battalion Maintenance Officer.
Oh, okay.
And now my focus is, my next goal-oriented achievement focus is to transition to the corporate America and impact immediately on profitability. And I'm really excited about doing that with your company.
Great, great. Now, you mentioned leadership a lot. What type of leadership style do you use?
Well, the leadership style I use is one where two-way communication is imperative. When I'm giving a mission or objective, I don't spend a lot of time analyzing it. I get down with my subordinates and I see what their feelings are and what their sentiments are. All right, and there's a lot of two-way communication based upon what my intentions are and how they feel that it should be best executed. Then I take all of their input, I consolidate it, I reach a decision, and then I have them execute it. And then I spot check where need be. I'm a real believer in motivation. I get down there and I give a lot of positive motivation when warranted, and I make corrections when needed. And I found that to be very successful for me.
How about, I'm looking at your resume, I'm sure that there's great things for you ahead in the military. Why do you just want to kiss it all goodbye and roll the dice on corporate America?
Well, the Army's been great for me. All right, I've had a great educational experience and leadership experience at West Point, and in the Army, I've had a great opportunity to serve with and over a lot of great soldiers. But frankly, it's time for me to be moving on. While I could stay in the Army easily enough and have a lot more successes, I'm looking to enhance the quality of life that I and my family share. Family's very important to me, and I want to eliminate the long deployments from home, and I want to spend more time with my family while still contributing to the organizational well-being of corporate America. I want to impact on profitability, and I want to do that right away. All right, and I'm very excited. Arduous tasks and long hours do not scare me because I'm used to it, and I'm sure that anything corporate America dishes out I can handle. But I am ready to make the transition and enhance my quality of life.
Okay. Tell me, you sound like you're pretty decided in the fact that you're going to leave the military, but have you gained anything from the military?
Oh, absolutely. The military, I have gained innumerable things from the military. I've had so many experiences. I have matured in the military. I've learned to prioritize my time. I have learned to allocate my resources effectively, and I have learned to work under short suspenses and get things accomplished. And I've also learned how to deal with subordinates. All right, and I have really, and in and amongst all of that, I have learned to do this in very arduous conditions. All right, extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme moisture. I have dealt with it all. And I've had a lot of success, frankly.
I see. What are your long and short-term goals?
Well, my short-term goals in the next year, I intend to transition to corporate America and impact on profitability right away. And the way I intend to do that is to relocate my family and come in with a positive attitude and the enthusiasm and zest to get the job done right away. I'm excited about working for your company, and I want a job. I'll be upfront about it. All right. I want to work for your company, and I want a job, and I want to impact immediately. And my positive attitude will do just that. Long-term goals. I hope to help my family grow up. I want my children to be educated in and out of the home. I want my wife to her nursing career to mature, and I want to enhance my family life. At the same time, I want to always contribute to the company I'm with, hopefully yours, and continue to move up the corporate ladder.
One word to describe yourself.
Driven. Driven to succeed, Mike, and I intend to do that with your company.
Well, we right now we're interviewing about 12 people for this job, and the people's qualifications are all pretty much the same, but the big determining factor is the fact that, you know, we have some people that are 22, 23 years old that we're interviewing for this job too, and us at Johnson & Johnson, we like that because we know that they have 5 more years of productivity left with us than they do with you. Why should we hire you?
Mike, well, that all may be true. I can tell you, between my enthusiasm, my attitude, and you mentioned the youth factor, you may have 5 more years of possible productivity, but I have 5 more years of experience to offer you, all right? And the years of experience I have in the Army are invaluable to corporate America. I can tell you right now that I will impact on profitability better and more likely to succeed than a young college graduate, simply because I have the experiences and the ability to deal with subordinates. I know how to deal with people, and I know how to work with people, and I know how to enhance the team concept. And I'm very much a team player into enhancing cohesion.
Now, we believe very strongly in team, but we also like to see that our individuals have some redeeming characteristics amongst themselves. We like to think of these as the big 5. What are your big 5?
My big 5 are aggressiveness, goal-oriented, goal orientation, I'll call it, not willing to accept failure after encountering initial obstacles, success, always success while taking care of people, and always enhancing cohesion and welfare of the organization.
Okay. Have any of these ever, how would I say, have you ever failed?
Yes, Mike, I have failed simply because I have high goals. And people with high goals will not always attain those goals, as you know. A personal failure of mine is I've always taken great pride in the organization that I work with, in taking the team of people that I have and integrating them all to get the most productivity out of them while enhancing the unit's mission. I had an individual in Germany, a staff sergeant, 12 years in the Army. After continuous additional training and counseling sessions, it was determined by me and my commander, as well as my other subordinate leaders, that we could not, frankly, salvage this individual. And rather than dish him off elsewhere, we decided we had to eliminate him from the service. I took that as a personal failure because I like to make every member of the team succeed, and I did not with him.
How about, we're looking at a job, we also got another job that, thinking about it, I think you're more qualified for it. It's a sales position, and it's located still in Louisville, but how would you feel if I put your name in for that? Because I think that you're more valuable to Johnson & Johnson in that position.
Well, Mike, I welcome your comments. I must tell you, I am set on the job I'm interviewing for, and that is production manager. While later on, after I prove myself as a production manager, I'll be more than happy and willing to look at the sales position. Right now, that is not my interest, and that is not where I want to go.
Okay. When you do use your management style, have you ever found yourself micromanaging?
I don't like the term micromanagement. However, there is a time and a place for it. I believe in spot checks, and I believe in the big picture and overseeing what's going on. There is a time for a leader or manager to get down in the trenches and ensure that something happens. But I like to limit that, because the more that a leader or manager does that, the more it becomes a necessity, and I think that's bad. I think the development of subordinate leadership skills are almost just as important as probably the mission that you're on at that time, or the objective that you're on. So I do not like to micromanage.
We here have a lot of different motivation styles, but we would like to keep people positive. Have you ever found yourself using negative motivation?
Well, Mike, we all make mistakes, and early on in my career, I think I probably made that mistake. But I have learned that it's much more effective to use positive reinforcement to get things done, and I'm very much into having a positive environment for my subordinates and enhancing the team concept.
I guess if I had the situation that I gave you is that you have two people that are particularly always coming late for their shifts, but one of this personnel is your shift supervisor, who is basically your right-hand man. How would you take care of this situation?
Well, basically I would get with them offline, one-on-one, and determine what is the root of the problem. Are there problems at home? Does he need an alarm clock? I would really determine what the problem is, and then I would see if I was a determining factor in causing that problem and what I could do to rectify the problem. But I do not believe in playing favorites, all right? Whether he's a shift supervisor or a lower person in the chain, I would treat him equitably with his position and with the offense that he's dealing with. But I would not just go off the handle. I would determine what the problem is and try to help him solve it.
What if this person challenged you in front of the whole shift?
Well, if he challenged me, I would try to get him aside, and then I would take whatever retribution would be necessary. All right, it is totally counterproductive to get in a shouting match with a subordinate in front of his peers. All right, no matter who is right. All right, and I will do everything I can to minimize or eliminate that.
I see. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of the interview, Ed. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Yes, Mike. I was going through your literature last night, and I noticed when you're focusing on your products, I was wondering, is there any one product that you try to push more than one other to enhance profitability?
Yeah, we like to push our Lucky Charms a lot better because they sell for $1 more a box, and that way that enhances it on profitability.
Well, I eat that, Mike, so that's good.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't, but I got to say, I'm really looking forward to the next step.
Okay.
And I want to be a part of your company.
Great. Well, let me walk you to the door.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
All right.
That's it.